Hey everybody, in this video we learn how not to use a 2x4. Okay, I got one side of the cross member in. What I did was cut a piece of 4x4 steel tubing and it goes all the way to the outer edge of the frame. So it's welded in there. And then I took and plated it. You try and get this piece done tonight, and then maybe start working on the Alright, we got that all burned in. And now besides just cleaning this up, frame is ready for paint. Alright, last night we finished up working on the frame, got it cleaned up, put a couple coats of paint on there. And today I'm going to install new shackles and new leaf springs. The shackles, I bought a pair of Celastic shock absorbers. And these should soften up the ride on the heavy duty a little bit. And then we got new leaf springs over here. Alright, we got the axle drug out from underneath with the new leaf springs and the Celastic shackles installed. Now, obviously before we put anything back together, both of these will be getting cleaned up and painted, as well as these. And then I'm not going to do anything with the U-bolts because, well, you can see how they're rusted to the point where it even gets narrower here. So I'll put these back on for the time being, just so I can move everything around the shop and whatnot. But I think I'm going to have to get longer U-bolts anyways, so it's not a big deal. I'm pulling the axle apart. I got the wheels and brake off anyways on this side, because I thought it looked like the tire was sitting like this. Figured I better check since this wasn't going to roll over. And you can tell that is definitely bent. Alright, so yesterday tried to bend the axle back into shape. That was a massive failure, as you can see. I didn't really have high hopes for it working because it was bent right at the spindle, so I didn't really want to use heat and mess up the bearing surfaces. But it cracked, so I guess I'm looking for an axle now. So today I'm going to lower this back down 2x4 is still holding, by the way. And then come back up front and finish up the core support. So one more quick update before we start the core support. I did order my Fox coilovers from WFO yesterday, so they should ship out on Monday and be here next week. Core support. Got the main support here that I've made, and this is out of the 67 cut to fit the intercooler. This needs to be cut a little bit more, and then I'm going to fill this in with something, some sheet metal, both sides. As you can see here, this isn't welded on. That's the way it's going to be. I've got another piece of 1/4 inch plate on the back side here. I'm just going to drill a couple holes in there and have it bolt together. That way, because I have an LB7, when I have to pull, or when I have to do injectors and stuff on here, I just lift the whole cab up, unbolt this, and I don't have to unhook the radiator and intercooler. We got the core support done. Kind of. Still got to do some touch-ups, finish out these mounts. Test fit the intercooler piping. Looks like I'm going to be able to use the factory stuff. Maybe. This might have some interference issues with the steering column, but we'll find that out when I get one. On this side, this has to be cut a little bit shorter. The reason that it's not a perfect fit is because the core support's sitting down lower, so everything's lower than it was from the factory. We'll come back to the rear. Got the fuel tank drained, cleaned out, put back on. New leaf springs are on, waiting for a new axle. But cross member's done, all painted back here. I started laying the harness back out again. I'm gonna take a bunch of the loom off and shorten some wiring, reroute some wiring, because I got plenty of it. But yeah, that's where we're at for this week.